Bienvenidos, damas y caballeros. In this video, you're going to have an opportunity to practice your Spanish language listening skills as I read through the final chapter of the Spanish translation of the novel Fight Club. So, let's get into it. This is the last chapter of the book, Capítulo 30. Let's do it. En la casa de mi padre hay muchas moradas. Por supuesto, cuando apreté el gatillo, me morí. Mentiroso. Y Tyler murió, con los helicópteros de la policía haciendo un ruido atronador al acercarse. Y Marla y toda la gente del grupo de apoyo que no podían salvarse a sí mismos. Con todos ellos tratando de salvarme, tuve que apretar el gatillo. Era mejor que la vida real. Y tu instante perfecto no durará para siempre. Todo en el cielo es blanco sobre blanco. Farsante. Todo en el cielo es silencioso, como unos zapatos con suela de goma. En el cielo puedo dormir. La gente me escribe al cielo y me dice que se acuerdan de mí, que soy su héroe, que me repondré. Los ángeles son como los del Antiguo Testamento, con legiones y lugartenientes, y con un anfitrión celestial que trabaja por turnos, por días. El camposanto te traen la comida en una bandeja y una taza de papel con medicinas. El, el muestrario de El viaje de las muñecas. He visto a Dios detrás de un largo despacho de nogal con sus títulos colgados en la pared detrás de él. Dios me pregunta, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué hice tanto daño? No me di cuenta de que todos y cada uno de nosotros somos sagrados, copos de nieve individuales, de una singularidad especial y única. ¿Acaso no veo que todos somos manifestaciones de amor? Veo a Dios tras su despacho, tomando notas en un blog, pero Dios se ha equivocado de parte a parte. No somos especiales, tampoco somos escoria o basura, simplemente somos. Somos y ya está. Y lo que pasa simplemente pasa. Y Dios dice, no, eso no es cierto. Sí, vale, lo que quiera. A Dios no se le puede enseñar nada. Dios me pregunta si recuerdo algo. Lo recuerdo todo. La bala que salió de la pistola de Tyler me rajó la otra mejilla, dejándome una sonrisa desigual de oreja a oreja, sí como una calabaza de Halloween enfadada. Un demonio japonés, el dragón de la avaricia. Marla está aún en la tierra y me escribe. Algún día, dice ella, me llevarán de vuelta. Y si hubiera teléfono en el cielo, llamaría a Marla desde el cielo y en cuanto dijera, diga, no colgaría. le diría, hola, ¿cómo te va? Cuéntamelo todo en detalle. Pero no quiero volver. Todavía no. ¿Por qué? Porque de vez en cuando alguien me trae la bandeja con el almuerzo y las medicinas y lleva un ojo morado o la frente hinchada con puntos de sutura y dice, lo echamos de menos, señor Durden. O pasa alguien con la nariz rota, limpiando con una fregona y susura. Todo, todo marcha según el plan. Susura. Vamos a acabar con la civilización para hacer del mundo algo mejor. Susura. Estamos impacientes por su vuelta. All right, so that's chapter 30. And it was just a little over a page, and that's it. That's the conclusion of the story of Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden. So I think it's pretty clear. Todo en el cielo es blanco sobre blanco. A Dios no se le puede enseñar nada. So I think it's pretty clear that our anti-hero here, Tyler Durden, is in some kind of mental institute. White padded walls, white ceiling, bright light. He's talking to someone who has a godlike presence. The doctor who himself is might be in a white suit or just white gown or suit. They don't say, but he's definitely talking to someone. And again, man, this book just feels like it was a huge inspiration to the first Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, this just feels it just feels like I'm watching the movie Joker. It's not word for word, of course. It's certainly an inspiration and not a ripoff. But man, the overlap here is just undeniable. Also, there was something that was said here that makes me think of Joker as well. Where was it? Right here. Let's reread this part. La bala, la bala que salió de la pistola de Tyler me rajó la otra mejilla, dejándome una sonrisa desigual de oreja a oreja. So he shot himself in the cheek, leaving him with a smile or a scar. He calls it a smile that stretches from ear to ear, right? So he has this huge scar right here, like the Joker. Si como una calabaza, like a jack-o'-lantern, like an angry jack-o'-lantern, like the Joker, or a Japanese demon, like the Joker, or a dragon, el dragón de la avaricia. I don't know what that means. This just screams Joker. It screams Joker. Uh, it gives Joker. It just gives Joker. Okay. And what else can we say here? I think that's it. Oh, last thing is he's in an insane asylum. He looks like a Joker, and he's still hearing the voices whispering in his head, right? Like sometimes people have voices in their whispering in their head, like "kill yourself," end it all. For him, it's the voices of the monos especiales saying, Mr. Dern, we eagerly await your return, Mr. Dern. Mr. Dern, civilization needs to be improved upon, Mr. Dern. And that is your job, Mr. Dern. And so yeah, I mean, he's lost his mind. He's lost control of his own mind. He's locked up in a insane asylum. And as I mentioned before, this novel is very much this novel is very much an, one second. So, as I mentioned before, this novel is very much a cautionary tale about mental illness, about passive nihilism, about existential dread, about young men who find themselves in this kind of environment. no father figure, no sense of purpose in life. I'm reading a book by Robert Greene called The Art of Seduction, and I'm currently in the chapter where he talks about charisma, and charisma is the seduction of the masses, right? And so in that chapter, he talks about how if you want to be charismatic, you you need to communicate certain things that people find seductive. You gotta feel their void, and you do that through a strong sense of purpose, of of a fever, almost like a feverish commitment to that sense of purpose. You need to have this almost godlike Messiah and sometimes even saintly presence, right? As you're the new Moses, right? You're the new Jesus. You're the new Napoleon. You need to have this larger than life presence, which conveys unwavering confidence in your ability to lead and fill the void in people's lives. And you need to have a way with words. Tyler Durden certainly has a way with words. I'm not saying he's eloquent, not necessarily elegance, but he certainly is eloquent. And eloquence is a hallmark of charisma. And so you think about the political leaders of the past who were charismatic: Lenin, Hitler, Mao, Napoleon, Obama, Trump, FDR. I mean, all of these political leaders are charismatic and they are able to seduce the masses. And Tyler Durden is a leader of sorts, one that takes everyone down a downward spiral of destruction and nihilistic destruction, masquerading as like salvation. I think that's a pretty good summary of that. And he's not interested in building anything. He just kind of leans into the hopelessness and derives a source of power. If I can't build something, if I don't have the power to build something, I can at least have the power to destroy, right? And he does just that. And so, again, this all goes to say that this is a cautionary tale to the reader, especially if the reader is a man, particularly a young man. But I would say young men in general. I think it's a fair. That's I would say it's certainly the intended audience, but really anyone for whom this message resonates. You don't have to be a young man. You can be an older man. You can be a woman. You can be identify as you wish. But my understanding of the novel is that the intended audience was young men. Um, yeah, and that's it. That's Man, this novel's heavy. Like this is a heavy book. I gotta say, like this is my fourth time reading it through Spanish and sharing it with all of you. And it's slow. It's when I slow it down and talk about it with all of you that I'm really beginning to realize just how many layers, how many layers this book has, and it's a really quite fascinating piece of language arts, I have to say. So, Chuck Palahniuk, uh, here it is. Here's my paper copy. So Chuck Palahniuk, I gotta say, job well done, sir. A job well done. All right, folks, this is the last installment of this series. This is the last chapter of El Club de la Lucha. Um, I don't see anyone watching these videos, so I'm probably gonna move on to different type of Spanish language learning series and see what resonates with all of you. Um, but I'm not a quitter. So I had to close out this series by finishing the book. When I start something, I finish it. It's just in my nature. All right. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.